Alright, so it's going to be a bit of a shorter session today. The main thing is I want to make sure, yeah, here we go. Okay, oops, almost forgot to double check that I was actually streaming. Let's make sure. Okay, super. So yes, a bit of a shorter session today. The main thing I want to make sure is that the GitHub actions that we set up last time are actually working, because the last time I put a comment to test here, but I also see these other comments here, which are also, these are from Create React App, and those are also not showing up in the deployed production build. So I'm suspicious that Create React App has some fanciness going on where it is stripping these comments out. So the way we are going to test this is simply we are going to put another div in the body that says Christian, and it's going to have a style. It could have an inline style. I was about to put an inline style. I think you can. The way I'm thinking about it is in React, but I'm pretty sure you can do in. Let's see, in MDN inline styles. That's a style information element. Okay, that's not HTML element dot style. A CSS declaration. Ah, yes. Okay, I thought there was a way. Right. Okay, so it's simply like that. It's an attribute that you add on the element. So style, and then what's the syntax? Oh, it's literally CSS syntax. Okay. So this would be, no, I don't want display none. I want visibility hidden. Visibility hidden. Okay, so now let's actually remove this comment from the author. Oops. What do I want? Command K. Is it Control? Oh, it's Control K that clears. There it is. So comment from, and then the one div. Okay, so this is add, and then commit. This is deployment test. What are we going to say? This is test deployment. Yes. Okay, let's push to origin gh-actions. Yes. So now if we go to, do I have it open? I gotta have it open in a tab here. We need to go to GitHub. Need to go to my account here. gh-actions had pushes less than a minute ago, right? No workflows run. So we're going to say test deployment into main. Do you have, let's see, create pull request. No conflicts with the base branch, okay. Actions. Right, so there's the run test, but has no conflicts with base branch. So I mean, I technically should wait until the tests finish. And we learned last time that the vast majority of it, it's the dependencies. It's setting up the dependencies. So we're expecting this div style visibility hidden to be present or not. When we go to, where do I have the app open anywhere here? I do not. Okay, so it means we have to open it. Gradient, that one. Right, because currently it is not there. Right. So how are we doing with the dependencies? Okay, we are installing dependencies. Is what's happening now. All right. Waiting for the dependencies to install. Alright, so while we are waiting for that to install, what were some of the other things that we wanted to address here? When a PR into main is merged, run the yarn deploy command. That's what we're doing now. Verify the element. That's what we're doing now. Input validation, yes, we do need to handle input validation. We have not done that. Convert CSS to SCSS. We might do SCSS. We might also do. Might do styled components instead. Not sure yet. Change the color mode, so instead of hexadecimal, so you can enter it in RGB, and I think we're probably going to stay with the color. I mean, because the browser literally has an inbuilt color picker. I think we're probably not going to do these. Yeah, I think you're probably sticking with hexadecimal. If you're typing a color in, I think you're going to stick with hexadecimal, because the browser already provides a very nice color picker. Granted, it's different for each browser, but still. So I think we're not going to do that. These should be about finished. Yeah, there it is. Complete job. Wonderful. Okay, so squash and merge. This is GH actions into main. This is the right. There's the div style visibility hidden. Squash and merge. Confirm squash and merge. Yes. So now here, there should be there it is, test deployment. Deploy. Found the idle hosted runner. There it is. So it's doing the stuff. Change the gradient mode, repeating linear gradient and repeating radial gradient. Yes, those are definitely things that we need to add. Repeating, currently it's linear, radial, and conic, and this is adding repeating linear, repeating radial. Adding color stops, there's a stop position is not incrementing on up or down key press. So what's going on here? That's incrementing. Removes a stop, removes a color. Add a stop. Those are definitely incrementing. So what exactly is the problem here? If we add another one, that increments. If we decrement, I shouldn't be able to decrement it past the other stop, so that's a bug. Okay, can't increment it past 100. But for example, here, if we add another one here, if we put you to, say, for 100, this is inaccurate. That should only, the minimum for this one should be 97. We could remove the first. Okay, so not entirely sure what that bug is referring to, but there's another bug where the color stop values can up down arrow out of range. Color stop values can up down arrow out of range when there are other color stops present. And color hints is not a thing I currently have. That would be a potential improvement. Circle input for changing degrees, that was a nice UI. Nice user experience with that. Changing the fonts would definitely be a thing we could do, and adding some icons would be a nice touch. And then mobile design is not a thing we currently have. Okay, that looked like it completed successfully. So if we go look at, yeah, the merge is closed. So now if we refresh, I am expecting, yay, there it is. Awesome. That is the div that I just added. And that is the deployment through GitHub Actions. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Fantastic. So, GitHub Actions. When a PR into main is merged, run the yarn deploy command. We are doing that. Verify that element in index file shows up in production. Yes, it does. We have done GitHub Actions. Test suite against the production build. It does that. It runs the, it runs the test suite in the GitHub action. So, okay, that's super. Let's then remove this div that we added. And let's do one more. So this will be actually stash. List the stash. Okay, stash is empty. And now you are empty. Now check out to main, whole origin main. We have stuff. Now check out gh-actions. Now merge main into gh-actions. Yes. Now stash hop. Now, right, nothing in the stash, super. So now let's look at the changes. We're removing that and remove the comments. Right, so this is removes extra div. There we go. Okay, so this is add. And this would be commit. This is removes extra element. Super, push to gh-actions. Yes. Wonderful. Open up a new PR from gh-actions into main. Yes. This is removes extra element. Yes. Now ideally I wouldn't be doing all of these same changes on the same branch. I know that is going to pass, so I'm going to skip that for now. So let's do squash and merge. Yes. Pull request successfully merged and closed. Super. So now I'm going to delete the branch here. Yes. Because I did it before it ran. We're going to delete branch GH actions, and we're going to check out main, and then pull origin main. Super. And now let's look at what's on main. Right, there it is. Removes extra element. There you go. So let's look at the branches, and then git branch delete gh dash actions. Yes, that's what I want to do, because I do squash and merge. Super. Little git hygiene there. So let's look at the existing branches. There's GH pages, which I need, and adding formic, which I'm not ready to get rid of quite yet. Wonderful. All right, so what's another thing that we could tackle in this session? Input validation. Input validation. I feel like input validation is going to be a little bit intense. Add color stops. Add color hints. Only valid between color stops. Circle input for changing degrees. Polishing fonts and icons. Mobile design. So what does it look like currently? Currently it looks like this. Ah, there's another thing that we could address. Now how is, well, let's look at that on local instead of in production. So yarn start. And what would this be? This would be a right, is the yarn start. This would be, how does that transition happen? That's really the thing I want to adjust. I feel like it would be in flyout CSS. Yeah, dot flyout. I feel like, yeah, it's you. Okay, so watch this. If we change this to 3 seconds, it puts all the content there, and then it gets bigger. Okay. What should this have? Flyout, overflow visible, overflow auto. Aha. Okay. So this button needs to be Oops. Nope, not that. Okay. So what's the, yeah, what fly out? I need to know what elements have what on them. So for example, there's a flyout dash open, which is the whole thing. So you do need an overflow of auto. So flyout dash open, we do have to change you to an overflow of auto. However, this particular button, which is flyout control button, you need an overflow of visible. Uh-huh. Okay. And you need to be, I wonder, isn't there a way to do, I feel like I've seen things where this button becomes, oh, that would be neat to have this be like a grab handle. That would be cool, actually. I like that. Yeah, let's do that one. That'll be a good task. So flyout control, change to a grab handle. Change to a grab handle with a resizable column. Is that how one spells resizable? Resizable column. Alright, so let's stash all these changes. Let's check out a new branch. This is called resizable dash column. Or we'll say resizable flyout. F-L-Y-O-U-T. R-E-S-I-Z-E-A-B-L-E fly out. Yes. Alright, let's pop the stashed changes. Super. So how would we accomplish a, I mean, I can make a vertical border, sure, and I can put a little handle thing on it, but how do we get the drag motion? That's interesting. How do I accomplish that drag motion? So let's see what MDN has to say about the matter. Let's see, MDN drag column. Drag column. What is draggable? That indicates whether the element can be dragged either with the native browser behavior or the HTML drag and drop API. Okay. I mean, I feel like you could do it as... I feel like you could do it as a click and then calculate the start of the click and then set the width of that column depending on where the mouse, the cursor is at any given position. I feel like you could do that. Let's take a look and see what other approaches. So this is JavaScript resizable columns. Resizable columns. The resize property okay, I don't think that's what I want. What is the resize? What is that? MDN resize. Whoa! that is, oh my, oh my. That is useful. Ah, wow. That is very useful. The resize CSS property sets whether an element is resizable, and if so, in which directions. Is a okay, resize. The element displays a mechanism for allowing the user to resize it in the horizontal direction. That is very, very useful. Browser compatibility. Yeah, I feel like this would be a, let me check, can I use as well? Resize. Yeah, it's a pretty relatively new thing. Although IE11 is technically, it's dropped support. So this is we're talking desktop here. This is really most that's most modern browsers. So this would be this thing. Flyout, resize, horizontal. But it puts it interesting. There is a noticeable delay. Yeah, look at that. Wow. That is not a great user experience. Okay. That's not great. Okay. what else do we have here? Resizable table columns. This is a person who has set up and what did they do here? Table layout. Table layout overflow. Table dot resizable columns. I feel as though there must be some. Okay, jQuery resizable columns. All right. I'm not really looking to have it inbuilt already. I mean, I feel like it should be relatively straightforward to do. So, because the thing that I'm looking to accomplish here is so it would be what? It would be on a click and drag. So this would be, what's the MDN drag? The drag and drop. Click start, and then on mouse move. Yeah, so I feel like it would be a click start and then on mouse move and click release. Okay. Which would be let's see if we can do a little proof of concept here. So this is the close button, which is on flyout button click, set is flyout open. If flyout open. So instead of a state is flyout open, we are going to have the container, which has a class of flyout. So it's this thing. And you are going to have, instead of that, is flyout open and not. Pardon, that is the button. It's this thing that I need. Flyout open and flyout close. Instead of those two, you are going to have inline styles. So yes, you'll have this one, but you'll also have style, and your style will have a defined width, which will be width, and your width will be width and set width, is going to be component state. Your width defaults to what does your width default to? Your width defaults to, right now your width is going to default to 500. Because ideally we'd want to do something like get the width of the window and then default to about half of that. But we're going to go with a simple approach for now. So on should always be the width. So on flyout click, so instead of a click, this will be on what element? We want on mouse down. This would be on mouse down. We want to activate, so this is listen for drag. And listen for drag is going to be a function that does exactly that, which adds event listeners for drag, adds event listeners for, it's not really drag, adds event listeners for mouse move events, adds event listeners for mouse move, listen for drag, because I need to listen for mouse move events and then keep track of the cursor position and calculate that as the distance between the current cursor position and the left side of the window. Okay, so this is listen for mouse move events, keep track of the current mouse X position, calculate the width of the flyout, update the width of the flyout. So actually, let's add the event listener for now. That'll be an improvement later if it's not always on. So this is, we'll do it the straightforward way for now. Document add event listener for mouse move. So listen on a mouse move, and this will be if, here's what I could do. This could be is resizing, set is resizing, and this would be some component state sets as false if is resizing is false, return immediately. So if we're not resizing and the mouse moves, return. Possible improvement for this would be only add event listener after mouse down on drag handle, on handle. That's an improvement. Okay, so if they're this could be maybe start resize, or it doesn't even need to be that. It could simply be an inline that sets set is resizing to true. There we are. Set is resizing to true. On mouse down. And then you would have the opposite. On mouse up. Set is resizing to false. So then all of this goes inside here. Listen for mouse move events, yes. Keep track of the current mouse position. So we're going to need the event dot, I don't remember offhand what it is. Let's go take a look. So we can get rid of this. Let's go take a look-see. So click, right, there you are. Event, okay, mouse, client X, page X, screen X. Okay, there's a lot of different values there. So which one do we need? How about MDN client X provides the horizontal coordinate within the application's viewport at which the event occurred, as opposed to the coordinate within the page. Clicking on the left edge of the viewport will always result in a mouse event with a client X value of 0, regardless of whether the page is scrolled horizontally. Left edge of the viewport in a mouse event with a client X value of 0 provides the horizontal coordinate within the application's viewport at which the event occurred. Client X, screen XY. Does that do the same thing if your client X, 0, screen, client X? Okay. And so what is screen X then? Client X, page X. Yeah, it's experimental. There's also offset X. And this is screen X. Read-only property provides the horizontal coordinate of the mouse pointer in global screen coordinates. So the range of the screen X to the combined width of the screens. Client X, screen X. I think you want client X is the one you want here. Provides the horizontal coordinate with the application's viewport at which the event occurred, as opposed to the coordinate within the page. Client X and screen X. I believe here the one I want is client X and not, oops, client X and not screen X. So this would be, because the flyout is always on the left, it's literally the client X. So this is set with to event dot client x. Take the width of the flyout. So if we close all these things, and this one also, reset, close, that is the general idea, but oh yeah, look at that delay. That is some delay. Yes, definitely. Okay, what we got? We got some bugs. So on mouse up. So on mouse down, you set is resizing to true, and on mouse up, now why was on mouse down, on mouse up? Okay, so the mouse up has happened, but the mouse move calculate the width of the flyout on mouse. It is called on mouse up. That is the property, right? MDN on mouse up. Yeah, on mouse down, on mouse up. Okay. Set is resizing false. There should be flyout is resize. Ah, okay. That is interesting. On mouse up should on mouse up should reset the, let me click, resize, release. Yeah, okay. So you are, okay, let's double check that we are doing that correctly. On mouse up. Mouse down. Yeah, there's definitely a mouse up event. Okay, set is resizing. Set is resizing to false. Set with on mouse down. So we change is resizing. You're listening for mouse move events. when there's a mouse move event, it is resizing as false, you return. On mouse move is resizing is true. It's interesting. I'm not entirely sure why. I feel like it's got to be something about the local variable that has access to. Let's try, I think Lodash has a debounce that we're going to use. Debounce. This one. Delays invoking function until after wait milliseconds have elapsed since the last time the debounced function was invoked. I think I actually want throttle here instead of debounce. At most once per every wait milliseconds. Yeah, I think that's the one I want. So let's install Lodash here. So yarn add Lodash. Let us install Lodash. Okay, super. So now let's import throttle as throttle from Lodash. And this would be throttle, the function, and the wait time. So the function is going to be this, and this would be calculate the width, calculate and set width, so calculate and set width is a function that takes an event and does all of this stuff. This would be throttled function. That has to be down here. We'll say every 500 milliseconds. We'll do it right here. Add event listener for a mouse move. Every time you mouse down, I feel like this whole thing here though should be inside of this. Right, so this whole thing here should be every time you mouse down, you add an event listener for mouse move that calculates and sets the width every 500 milliseconds. And then every time you mouse up, I would need to document.add event listener. That would be remove event listener. Set is resizing. Timer. There's a timer. So then on the mouse up, I would set, yeah, I feel like I could, I wonder if I can store it in a ref. That would be interesting. Use ref. So maybe something like, what would this be? This would be maybe listener ref. Use ref. Listener ref. So what if I did listener and then STEN listener ref dot current dot listener listener ref dot current dot listener, and then on mouse up you do what? Document dot remove event listener. Document dot remove event listener. You need the remove event listener. We need, it's easier to read it on MDN. Remove event listener, which is the type, which is the string, and I believe that's the same type and listener parameters to remove event listener. Oh, you passed the function. Oh, okay. So I don't need to, okay. Super. So I don't actually need to capture it with a ref. That's easier. I do need to capture the throttle function though. So this is, we'll say throttled, and then, but I do need to store the throttle then in a ref, okay? So listener ref dot current dot throttled equals this thing. Add event listener. Okay, not quite. Throttled is this. We make you throttled. Add event listener for throttled. And then here we remove event listener, the thing that's at mouse move, and the thing that's at that spot. Probably that one, there we go. Calculate and set width. Set width event and set the width to event.clientX. Let's see what that does for me here. Down. Okay, and we're blowing up. Cannot set properties of null, setting throttle. This is flyout 89. Cannot set properties of null. Flyout 89 cannot set properties of null. Listener ref. Oh, right. Yeah. I was thinking about it. When you use React to assign a reference to a DOM node with ref, it shows up at the current property of the ref, but not when I'm using it as simply an empty object to hold things. Close. Pardon. Cannot add property throttled object is not extensible. Okay. So, which means I am not doing that correctly. So, listener ref. Let's go take a look. So this is really the ref. Refs and the DOM. Right. React.create. DOM refs to yeah, but there's a way to use there's a created using react.createRef and attached to. Okay, let me look at hooks. Hooks API reference useRef. UseRef returns a mutable ref object. React.createRef. That's creating a ref. Returns a mutable ref object whose current property is initialized to the past argument. Whose current property is initialized to will set its current property to the corresponding DOM node whenever that node changes. Use efforts for more than yeah. Okay, I thought that's the way I was using it here. Useref null, and then input current should be the thing. So when I listenerref.current, I'm expecting listenerref.current to be do it this way, just as fast. Listenerref.current to be null is what I'm expecting here. Right. Okay. Listenerref.current is null. And so listenerref dot I guess yeah, okay, I guess Okay, so I need to do listenerref dot current equals throttled, and then listenerref dot current click when it moves, right? And when we stop clicking, okay. So we have not yet addressed the remove click. Alright, so the event listener for mouse move pardon. I feel like you should be the same. I feel like that should be that throttled function and not the. So when we mouse up, listenerref dot current is the debalanced function. Okay. Remove event listener. Document remove event listener. Okay, so then after that runs, is there a way I can list event listeners? Okay. It's not really what I want. I can examine it in Firefox. Okay, can I do the same thing in Chrome? I guess it should be on mouse move, null. Close. Document, let me do a watch. So document on mouse move is null right now. Okay. That is interesting. That is very interesting. Click, unclick, or release. How about a 1 second delay? Click. Yeah, that is far too long. Yeah, okay. So that is not accurate. Okay, no, it needs to be something like 100. Throttled, calculate and set width, set with, I guess I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure this needs to happen in the mouse down. That might be able to happen here. ListenerRef.current throttled, calculate and set width, and it sets the width. ListenerRef.current set a remove. Okay, I don't think it's the ListenerRef.current. I mean, even if we took out the throttle and simply did the ListenerRef.current as calculate and set width, add event listener and remove event listener. But I still believe this buggy behavior would still be, yeah, it's still present. Okay, that means there's something else about this that I am missing. So this is what if I added it to what would you need to listen for? So what about if the click has to happen on remove event listener? Yeah, so it is a document remove event listener, but the mouse down, what if that has to be on the button here? So this is, so a ref would be, we'll call it button ref. And this would be button ref.current add event listener, and so this would be button ref, use ref, and then button ref.current, click down, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, it seems to be a lot of, that's very much not a great UI, not a great user experience here. Oh, interesting, because it's only, oh, that's different. That is not what I had initially thought. On mouse down, I'm adding an event listener for mouse move on the button ref, which is not what I wanted. On mouse down on the button ref, I want, no, I feel like it should be on document. On mouse down, I want to add an event listener for mouse move on document. On mouse down, I want to add an event listener for mouse move on document, and then on mouse up on, oh, whoops, that was silly. On mouse up on the document, I need to remove the event, not on mouse up on the button. So, for example, we could get it to work, close, it moves, and then if you on mouse up on the button, okay, that was not the behavior I expected. On mouse up on the button. I wonder if you have to be over the button for the whole thing to work. Interesting, that was not the behavior I wanted. So it's this. Yeah, I guess we're back to the other approach. We're back to the approach of setting the, well, we're back to the initial approach of is resizing and then set is resizing. Mouse move. So when you click on the button, I want you to oh, okay. When you click on the button, I want you to set is resizing to true, and then also add an event listener on the document for on mouse up, which sets is resizing to false. So this is document add event listener mouse up, which is set is resizing to false. So we're adding an event listener for mouse move. We do have to add a cleanup for that, but can do that. I can do that in effect. It's fresh. Yes, but I only want the because I didn't. The listener. So this thing now does have to be if is resizing. But you are always going to have the resizing from the first render of that, which is not actually what I want. So I guess it is. I guess you do need to have this here. On mouse down, add a mouse move. Add a mouse move listener, which runs this function, which has a closure over that, the resize that was false. Click. Okay. Set is resizing true. All right. Getting a little involved here. On mouse down. I guess if I do it this way, I would need to have is resizing not as state, but as a ref. Okay, so resizing ref, use ref, initially null. resizing is initially false, so if resizing ref is false, resizing ref.current is false, return. So this would be resizing ref.current is true, and then here you would do resizing ref.current is false, which would stop, and we could put this back. You don't need to add the event listener every time. Add an event listener for mouse up on mouse up. You set the resizing to false, and you remove this event listener. Event listener. Oh, no, this does need to be on the mouse down. So I do need to remove both, clean up both event listeners. Clean up both event listeners. Okay. So here, the first one, the mouse down, right? And then when we remove, there it is, it stops. Okay, that is better. Now, we are not cleaning up after ourselves here. So add event listener for a mouse move. And then we add event listener for a mouse up. So then when you hear this mouse up, which is here in this one, set resizing ref current equals false, and document remove event listener for mouse move listener ref dot current, and remove event listener for mouse up. This function essentially. We're going to call it cleanup. Cleanup. Move event listener for cleanup. Clean up. I'm curious to see if that's going to error on me. Okay, it did an error on me. Now, that requires some throttling. So the throttling is going to be the listener ref.current, which is calculate and set width. So it's this one. Throttle, calculate and set width. Only fires every 100 milliseconds. That's pretty smooth. That is pretty smooth. And now we can change, for example, this button can have some styling on it. So for instance, it's already at an absolute position. What if we did top of 50%? Wonderful. Pardon. And let's do maybe a border of, how about 2 pixels solid black? Two pixel dashed. How about 10 pixel? 5 pixel dashed black. I mean, it's pretty ugly, but it does get the point across. I would also want to rotate it, and I think I would want to actually do a striped thing going on there. So this is flyout control button. So there you go. Flyout control button, which is here. I need to change some things about that. Flyout open. Ah, yes, because the flyout open is no longer needed actually. So flyout open is no longer needed. Same thing with flyout closed. And we can get rid of is resizing, and is flyout open, is flyout closed, as well as on flyout click. And we can simplify this to flyout. And we can simplify all of this to flyout control button here, like this. Get rid of all this. Is flyout open, close, or open? This would be resize. And let's import resize instead of close and open. Messages context. This is going to be in constants. Okay, where did I put it? Probably in translations. Close and open. Yeah, something. How about resize? Resize. There we go. Okay, that is not quite accurate. And why is that not accurate? So it looks like we forgot something. I think I want to set this to a default. I want to set this to an initial default set width. So this would be use effect only the first time. So only the first time it runs. Run a use effect that document dot what is the width? Document dot width. Yeah, what is the way to get the width? Width of an element. Okay, I could do a query selector, sure. So this would be with the ID of root, get the, or how about the wrapper, with the class wrapper. document.querySelector with the class of wrapper dot with. Could literally grab that and paste it here, and it should, there you go, 784. And so this is set width of that. There's probably a better way to set default width. Perhaps calculate it higher in the tree and pass it as a prop, perhaps. But I think that will work for now. Yeah, because see how it jukes? It hit jukes. Document.querySelector wrapper. Oh, use state 500. But it should be setting to 0 and then setting the width to something else. Is wrapper always that particular width? Did I set it like that? Width of 100%, what's your parent? That is interesting. Query selector, what is this, wrapper? Okay. Offset width 784. What is that element? It's this one. Does flyout have a, oh, flyout has a fixed width. Okay. That's the thing that was, flyout has a defined fixed width, which I need to remove because we're going to a flexible width arrangement. Divide by 2. That is not what I want. Not a numbers for a width CSS. Document.querySelector wrapper.width. Let's go look. Okay, what is document.querySelector wrapper.width? What are you? You should be oh, right, because it's not width, it is client width, 555. Right. Client width, inner width, window inner width. So this would be client width. Let me see, otherwise, it's the inner width of an element in pixels, including padding. Client width includes padding. I think that's what I want. to. Continue. That is the general idea. That is the general idea here. So now, what's going on with this resize? That needs to be, you need to be this resize button. You need to have a position absolute top 50%. I mean, yes, but you need to be, so you're inside the flyout. You need to have a right of, what should your right be? You need to have a right of the width minus half of your width, which needs to be calculated. So the flyout is, let's get rid of some of these comments. Get rid of some of these things. The flyout, flyout control button. So you need to have a style of right, and that needs to be the width. That needs to be the width, which is here, plus I suppose we could put a margin on it. I put right. Did I want left? I think I might have wanted left. Yeah, because it's an offset from the side, right? Left. Margin right. I want to push it. Interesting. Absolutely positioned items ignore margin. Is that a thing? MDN absolute position. Position. Position absolute. The margins of absolutely positioned boxes do not collapse with other margins. Yeah, okay, I think I need to, what is the width of this box? I mean, I could calculate it. I could also set it, though. I could set it to have a specific width, say, of 4 rems. About 5 rems, something easy, 6 rems, a width of 6 rems, and then so your style is a string of whatever the width is, px, plus offset from the left, minus 3 rems, minus 3 root ems. A flyout control button. needs a defined width of 6 root m's. So now pardon, because I need to, that is a calc, is what that needs to be. 440 pixels minus 3 rems. So why did that not work? Yeah, why did you not work? $535 pixels, 531 pixels, minus 3 rems. Why are you not working? 531 pixels minus 3 rems. That's a bit interesting. Zero pixels minus 3 rems, but I need the offset. $531 minus 3. Invalid property value. Oh, maybe it's simply off the screen. Right root m's. You have a right offset of root m's. Why is offset from the right, offset from the left? Yeah, it should be an offset from the left side of the screen. Okay, that was unnecessarily complicated. Yeah, there you go. That's the general idea of what I wanted to happen here. That is the general idea. All right. So there's still a bunch of stuff that needs to be cleaned up here. So let's save this as a work in progress. But I think that's all we're going to do for tonight. So obviously the next session we're going to polish this up a bit. There is, I mean, we can change a bunch of the styling on this. I'd like to have it vertical, little different visuals on that, and I'd like to see what's possible to clean this up a little bit. See if all this document add, remove event listeners are really necessary in that way. Remove a bunch of the comments here. Clean up the CSS a bit, and perhaps setting this default differently. those are all things that we'd like to do next time. But that is it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.